My name is Becky Ajay. SBECAN is our trademark for all Cuban trained graduates. We have an association, another association that is called SBECAN Association. So this one is the ladies' wing of the SBECAN Association. The idea behind the Congress was to bring all the ladies of the association, that's the SBECAN Association, together as a group. The main objective is to be a very strong and formidable group, a women's group in the country and even the world at large.
Good afternoon, everybody. Madam Chairman, I think the Cuban ambassador is gone, but I also have to acknowledge his presence. Mama Ya Mansa, cherished SBECAN teachers, esteemed SBECAN ladies, our dear SBECAN gentlemen, the few that are here. I hope you can all hear me. Can you? Okay. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today marks a very important landmark in the history of SBEC 22. That's like Bentido. Is that it? Yes. You see, I've spent all my Spanish in eating kenke and akple. It is also unique that our well-distinguished SBECAN ladies have found it expedient to organize today's event. Please join me to give glory to God and to thank Him for how far He has brought us. It was a privileged opportunity that took us to Cuba and brought us back safely. I'm also greatly delighted and highly honored to be associated with today's event, and more especially to deliver an address. I commend our SBECAN ladies for organizing such an event. Madam Chairman, permit me to use this opportunity to pay tribute to the Cuban government for the initiative of training young students from Africa and Ghana in particular. Their visionary leadership, coupled with their commitment, has seen us develop into world-class professionals. Isn't it true? I also wish to place on record our very sincere appreciation to all the dedicated Cuban and Ghanaian teachers through whose tireless efforts and sacrifices we have become what we are today. Additionally, may I crave your indulgence to rise up, all of you, so we can observe a minute's silence in memory of our teachers and students who have passed on to eternal glory. Let's observe a minute's silence for them. May the souls of our dear departed rest in perfect peace. Please have your seats. Madam Chairman, 35 years ago, the first batch of Ghanaian youth, accompanied by their teachers, left the shores of Ghana for Cuba to continue their education. Indeed, that was a rare opportunity to get ourselves empowered. Having gone through training in Cuba and having acquired knowledge, skills, values, and attributes, most of you have returned home to contribute your quota towards national development. We are proud of you. We honor and salute you. Indeed, we acknowledge your social, political, and economic achievements. Our topic for discussion is empowering today's versatile woman for development. Considering current global and national events, the relevance of this topic cannot be overemphasized. Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to remind ourselves that countries that have included women in the development of their human capital are not only at the forefront of the global shift, but are also the beneficiaries of global wealth. You will also agree with me that the growing gap between developed and developing countries has been attributed to the slow pace of growth of our human capital due to the fact that women have been marginalized over the years. In fact, women are generally perceived as Class B citizens with ascribed societal roles in many developing countries. Incidentally, Madam Chairperson, several women have not disconnected from this perception despite their level of education because of the kind of socialization given to us. In Africa, we are socialized to be second-class citizens, isn't it? So, what kind of empowerment does the versatile woman need to efficiently function and positively contribute to development, especially in the African and Ghanaian context? The right to education is not the issue here. The question is, what do you do as an empowered, versatile woman with the knowledge and skills to be acknowledged at your workplace? The 21st century woman should have a disciplined mind which will enable her engage in high-order thinking in order to turn things around. Women should move away from mere knowledge acquisition to real appreciation and application of knowledge. Conceptual analysis, synthesis, and constant evaluation should be her benchmark. They must develop independent, creative, and innovative minds, understand the rules of empathy, and be able to overcome emerging political, social, and economic challenges. Nurturing ethical intelligence, achieving high academic and attitudinal standards will propel high professional attainments for entry into today's competitive market in an environment that exerts competence and excellence. The above notwithstanding, the empowered woman has to be conscious of the following issues. And at the end of it, I'm sure a lot of you have stories to tell. Their experiences at your workplace to be accepted by the male-dominated environment. The first one is that there is a shift to consciously or unconsciously train girls for women-centered jobs, such as what? Nursing, teaching, catering. So you are a female, you go to school and they tell you, oh, you can go and do home economics. You can go and do this. They don't talk about the engineering and medical this thing. 2, there is a vast difference between domestic and public work environment. You have to be conscious of that. Office space for a long time has been dominated by men. There is power dynamics at play here because men have been given such power by society. Isn't it true? Good. The third one is that there is apparent discrimination, sometimes subtle and difficult to get evidence to complain. You are being discriminated against because you are a woman, but it's difficult for you to pinpoint what exactly the problem is for you to complain. Women therefore assume the mother role even at workplace, and we are still being addressed as mommy, auntie, ma. But then even your subordinate males are addressed by their titles, isn't it? And we also play that role. Oh, he's my son, he's my this, and we pamper them as our children instead of them acknowledging you because of your expertise. Women need to work 10 times to impress and be recognized or to be outstanding at the workplace, isn't it? Good. Women transition into the workplace has generally brought new behavioral issues, making women more vulnerable. Thus, women's survival is determined by male domination and women's subordination. If you are qualified and you don't succumb to your your boss, you will never get anywhere. They do appraisals, and what happens? You'd always score the low mark, isn't it? But if you are prepared to succumb to the males, you always get high marks. Ever wondered why politics is predominantly a male-dominated area? Who are the politicians among us? They will tell you their stories. A common phenomenon is the use of sex as an instrument to intimidate women at the workplace, isn't it? Well, women must have children. So no matter your qualification, they expect that you must have children. That's the expectation. And the marriage institution is used as the channel to enforce this. But then the men expect you to do that, but they don't think of how you take care of the home. How many of you have seen women carrying their babies to the office? Yeah. You see the inconvenience. The environment expects you that as a woman you must have children. How you are going to take care of them doesn't. And these children, you ask permission to take the child to a hospital, and the men, what do? They complain. So in some places, when they employ you, you are not expected to get pregnant until you spent a number of years with them, isn't it? Social and cultural practices ascribe poverty to women. It's a generally accepted thing. For example, some women have to account for how they spend their income to their husbands. Do their husbands do same? Good. A woman is not expected to build a house or own a flashy car by herself without assistance from men, irrespective of her status at work. If you own a flashy car, they said, oh, your sugar daddy gave it to you. Your husband bought it for you, isn't it? As women, in fact, these are a lot of things that we have to deliberate about after my presentation, so that you tell us, you come out with your stories. I have a particular one which I'll tell at the end of this. As women find themselves in the same work environment with their male counterparts, they must be empowered more so they can play their roles more efficiently. In every society, women sustain the stability and well-being of members in the provision of physical and psychological needs. Today's scientific and technological dispensation, coupled with current trends on the job market and environment, indicate a paradigm shift towards a knowledge-based, globalized economy, with science and technology determining the scheme of things. Against this backdrop, society expects today's woman to become not only versatile, but also more importantly, empowered. Having acquired the requisite knowledge, skills, values, and attributes that you need to function as productive citizens, you need to be empowered so you can fit well into sometimes uncompromising situations you find yourself at the workplace. Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, while society is trying to empower in brackets, empower women, there is the need for conscious social value clarification at the personal, community, and national levels. Clarify your values, and then you know exactly who you are and what you want to be. There is the need to identify disparities in the socialization process. Things that happen in the past that put women or made women second-class citizens, let's try to discard them. So we need to identify the disparities in the socialization process so that women will be accepted at the workplace and then they will be able to achieve their aim. Women and men must make conscious efforts to coexist at the workplace. It's very important. The shift from domestic to workplace environment can only be achieved when both males and females agree to clarify what is important to development, not who you are. We should not only pay lip service to the issue of women empowerment, but both women and women should speak a common language on empowering women. There is the need for a mindset change by both women and men to accept roles of women, especially at the workplace. I said earlier on that some women also accept the status given them at the workplace because of the socialization process. But we need to have a mindset change so that you accept that you are not a second-class citizen. It is only then that women can play meaningful roles towards development. The question is, are men ready to work with women? Are men ready to work with women? I leave that to you to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, to be able to withstand most of the challenges that come with the turbulent male-dominated work environment, it is important for women to consciously create their own personal development plans. I think the keynote, the first speaker, Madam, mentioned that. You need to create your own personal development plan. Take advantage of opportunities that abound. Invest in and adopt a systematic approach to keep developing your skills and abilities so that you are ready when they are needed. Never stop learning. Knowledge is power. An empowered woman never stops learning. Continue to be a student for life and keep validating your values in order to become a star. Regularly recreate and redefine your career goals so you can accomplish your dreams even as you keep taking well-informed decisions. Women must not only claim their rights, but also exercise them politically, socially, and economically. When you are empowered, you trust your instincts, so you can embrace the essence of who you are and what you believe in. Dear Uzbek ladies, go ahead and get empowered in diverse fields of endeavor, so you can become multi-skilled, flexible, resourceful, and adaptable to diverse situations. You will become competent role models to have positive impact on society. I will encourage you to strive for the ultimate. You should be fearless, even in the face of any form of adversity. Stay focused and be your true self. Never view vulnerability and honesty as a sign of weakness. Neither should you feel intimidated by anyone and circumstance. Go ahead and compete with yourself, not with somebody else. That's challenge yourself. Recognize your strengths and weaknesses and use both to your advantage. Take time to nurture yourselves physically, spiritually, and emotionally to be of service to mankind in your communities and beyond. Indeed, as you achieve meaningful, purposeful, and fulfilling lives for yourself, remember, life's greatest joy is to serve others. I think this is a value we acquired in Cuba. At least I did from the 2 years I spent there. Today, we acknowledge your resilience, my ladies. We honor your social, political, and economic achievements. We stand in solidarity with you. We stand in solidarity with you even as you strive in your varied domains of influence and eradicate poverty among the vulnerable and deprived women in society. We pray that the good Lord will strengthen you and pull your resources together to make life beautiful in a new, decent, and glorious world. Keep discovering yourselves. Keep reinventing yourselves. Keep winning. Patria Almighty. Now, Adancha, can you just give me a couple of minutes? If you have stories about your relationship with the male-dominated this in the office, let's have them. But I'll tell you mine. I work with an NGO briefly, and my boss had a first degree, and he couldn't understand that, he couldn't see how a PhD holder could assess his work, because I was an evaluator. And that brought a lot of conflict to us. Because to me, you are a woman. So at the workplace, how do I write something and you tell me, or I do something and you evaluate it or assess it and say it's not good? You understand? Yeah. Just because I'm a woman. So he kept on belittling me all the time. Some of them, people make advances at you, and if you refuse, then you start having problems.
When I was employed in my company, I was then given the head of a particular section, and the only female since the inception of that company. Anytime I come to the office, a man will come, sit beside my table. I ask, sir, please, I think this table was given to me as the head of department. Can you please excuse me? Shh, you just came. Yanka book as a move. Yanka work experience. Experience be no. Meanwhile, I have to teach you. So my man and Benwa, you can't work in this office. Yes. So what my man and Benwa, I quote him. So what my man and Benwa, and they joined the Minchiro. It continued for almost 6 good months. When I was undergoing probation, I reported him to my head, like the overall boss. So he asked my opinion. Should they change the place for me, or I want to work in that particular office? And I said, yes, I want to work in that particular office. Because I cease to be undermined. No matter what it is, paper works before experience. So gradually, I have to. Then my boss said, okay. Anytime I come to the office, I find some wrapped, like something wrapped, red color, black color, on my table. Yes, it got to that extent. And one day, when I came, I greeted him, as if he was waiting for me to enter the office. When I greeted him, for what he said was then, for to veggie seat or for to veggie something. I said, yes. You have to be under me. What I made me too, made me heal. The paper is first. But now I think he's understood everything. And we are working amicably. But I went through hell in his hands. The only female engineer in that particular office. I went through hell with about 3 men before I'm able to succeed as the head of department now.
Oh, yes. Yes. I thank God today we are all gathered here, not to bore you. As you see me here, in 2016, I was supposed to be the first chief accountant of Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Female. Yes, never ever. After I've been, for the past 6 years, the first deputy chief accountant, but something happened. I attended the interview, I passed, I was the only one who was due. But after I've passed, they went and called the junior to bring her papers when she failed. But they didn't give it to me. So for the past 2 years, all that you are hearing about Kolebu, they all gang up and said, if I become the chief accountant, Kolebu will go hungry, they will suffer, I will not push the PV. But God being so good and whom He is today, my director of finance, the deputy of management, they are all looking at me, and the people they've put there, they are visiting Iyoko 2 times a week. Everybody just turn and look at me. God loves you. Yes. Because I'm a woman, I'm straight, I'm not going to sign. I will not let them be taking the coupons, 3,000 here and there. They didn't give it to me. But as you look at me, I look it. And I know one day, I'll get my letter in Jesus' name. Because of all of you, my mentors, and all of you who have been supporting me, I know one day we'll all celebrate again. In Jesus' name. Amen.
I am a pre-colonial. Oh yes. I remember the Second World War, how we lived. All I want to tell you is that we women are the source of our problems. When I was young, I come from a family, 5 girls, 2 boys. And my parents were education oriented. They were all educated. Rare, my mother and aunties were the first females to be educated by the missionaries. Do you understand? So it was in the family. So my mother and their sisters did everything with their husbands to see that all their children were educated. So imagine being in the home and then your aunties would come and say, why are you wasting money on the girls? Even when they are educated, they are going to end in the kitchen. That's what we grew up with. But our parents, funnily, even the uneducated men those days began to send their daughters to school because they saw us, our parents, pushing us. But the difference in what is happening today is that mothers are the foundation of education. You see how I'm stressing it? Yes. Many of you are not educating your children, either boys or girls. Women, we are the foundation. You've allowed your children you've spoiled them from the beginning. That is the problem you young people are having. I grew up as a tomboy. Girl, I played football like mad. I went with the boys hunting. So from childhood, they knew me as somebody who didn't follow the normal. But funnily, each time I remember now, my parents and my uncle and the wife who really brought me up, they allowed me to be myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are forcing your children into molds that they do not fit. They have no backbone, excuse me to say. You've taken it away. You've pampered them. The men are doing their own thing. It is the women who educate. Please, watch the way our girls dress. In our days, it had to come to the floor. You have to have sleeves, even those women who got married. Sleeveless dress, if you go to church with it, they will send you back home to go and change. Do we understand what I'm saying? So they made us know through that they are bringing what women, when you struggle and go to school, what you want. What do you want? Let me ask each one of you, for your children, grandchildren. When we are leaving them to do what they please, they talk to you and you allow them. Oh, it doesn't matter. Daddy, I won't talk to you. Mommy, I won't talk to you. And you allow it. How will they bring up their children? If we women who are the foundation from the Bible, civilization, have now destroyed ourselves, how do you expect things to go? So please, what we are, or you and the younger ones are suffering, you have created. I have all, as somebody said, they said she is hard. I wasn't hard. I only showed the men that we were equals, even when I was growing up. Nobody challenged me. I don't discuss equality. You bring it, I'll tell you that one, I have no time for it. I know who I am. Please ask yourself, who are you? What are you bringing up? That is the source of the problems you are having. When your man knows who you are before you get married, he will give you decent treatment. When you go to your workplace and they know who you are, you don't argue. You don't, but you show them that, for me, I'm just like you, the men. Principles and all. Things will change. In Nkrumah's time, the Makwala women were his Bank of Ghana people. That's why he traveled with them. He said, you call them today, they will tell you what the economy is. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mama. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now.
In her life that they are not yet tapped into. Rather the grace to tap into them in the name of Jesus. We declare war against any power that fight against their life. Granted the grace to live long and see good. Many live long and they suffer. The rest of the days left for our mom, my prayer, Lord, you unfold the blessings upon her life. Any attack of the enemy set against her be frustrated in the name of Jesus. Let your counsel for her life be established. Whatever you need to leave behind, to serve as a legacy for her to follow, granted the grace to leave them behind in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Lord, for an answered prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
This is your song.
I'm a member of the Ezbekan Ladies Association. The Ladies Association is a wing of the main Ezbekan group. Today, I was amazed when I saw the turnout, and I think we have been able to achieve our aim. We're trying to bring us together to discuss issues concerning Ezbekan ladies, our problems and our aspirations, sharing our problems and knowing where each other works and where each other does. Yeah, so that when you need help, you know whom to follow.
I'm Mrs. Emilia Koti Papa Few, and I also schooled in Cuba. And we gathered today here, the ladies, but there's already an umbrella association which covers all students from Cuba. And as we all know, when you put the men and the women together, there are issues that some women are not able to bring out. And so we are kind of overshadowed by the men and what is happening, because we are now grown up with families and we all have challenges in our family lives. And so it has made some of our members, especially the women, to be timid and not to come out to voice out whatever they feel for us to help. So this is an occasion we are trying to come together, open up the environment for them and give them the platform to be able to come out and tell us the challenges they are facing, and also to reorganize ourselves to help the society. And this group, for the first time, our meeting has been very successful. What our expectations were have been met. We had some of our members who were in the shadows and couldn't come out as women to participate in what is going on in the country. were able to voice it out. And so this has given us the opportunity to go back, the organizers to go back and reorganize ourselves and the information that we have gathered, and then come out with concrete activities that will impact in our own lives as well as the society as a whole.